All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is a meeting of the Seldovia City Council, Monday, April 13th, 2026. Time is 4:39 p.m. This will be a work session. We've got one topic on the docket tonight, and that's the FY27 draft fee schedule.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm gonna just go ahead and share my screen. That way, hopefully that helps us walk through this. Not a lot of significant changes to start off. If you go to page 3 of your packet, you'll see a memo that just goes over really what has changed. There was a couple smaller language changes that weren't included in the memo, but you'll see them as we go through the fee schedule itself. So I will go through the memo and share my screen so that we can look at it at the fee schedule through the fee schedule as well, if that helps you guys. And then please stop me wherever you have questions. Overall, a summary of changes for this fee schedule is minimal formatting and language changes, as I said, a 1.5 CPI inflation increase for harbor moorage, boatyard storage fees, and water and sewer fees. That's pretty typical. There's also a modest increase recommended for harbor electric. That's remained fairly stagnant over the last several years. And language was added for parking and camping at Jackoff Bay Dock Lot. And I also wanted to just bring up boat haul out and refuse services in general for future considerations. No recommendations tonight, but it's something we keep going round and around in the office. And maybe if we put it out there, somebody else will have a better idea, but just to call attention to it at this point. So if you actually go into the fee schedule, I believe this is page 5 of your packet. Starting at harbor fees. Yep, you can go to the next one. There you go. You'll see in it, some of the language changes are in yellow, just to point it out. So we had a question on launches and haul outs. What do we charge for kayaks? Do we not? Rowboats, some of those things, paddle boards. Harbor Master really likes to call out inflatable flamingos. So, because that was fun from the summer. And just wanted to make sure we put language in here that the boat launch ramp fees are specific to vessels that are trailer bound, that are going up and down the ramp on a trailer. And so I'm just going to scroll through here real quick. Not a lot of changes other than that on the first page. If we go to the next page, you'll see the standard CPI increase, except for the daily moorage rates. We haven't increased those in the last couple of years because we're already significantly higher than the other communities in our state. So we've been holding those stagnant, but doing our regular inflation increases for monthly, 6-month float plane, and annual moorage. So you'll see those on there in bold underlined and then striking out the previous fee.
And those are all 1.5.
Yep.
The 1.5 increase.
I did not do the seasonal float plane pass, so I will update that in the final draft. Just skipped right over that one, so I will add that one. And then so scrolling down, I mean, everything stays. Oh, and I did update the annual, but it doesn't, this is not the version that has the annual updated in it. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Okay, so the annual moorage, I updated that this morning. Let me make sure this has the rest of the stuff that is supposed to have in it. Okay, it does. Huh.
Maybe that one didn't hold your save or something.
Must not have. That was one of the last things I did. So that annual moorage should also be updated at a 1.5% increase. So I apologize. Looks like everything else made it in so far. Not a lot of changes really, but it's good to go over in case you guys have any additions or concerns or subtractions. And then Harbor Electric, we did do a 4% increase for electric, going from $25 to $26. Mainly because we looked at other rates around us. We looked at our decrease in our increase in rates from HEA and our decrease from revenues coming in, as well as the fact that we've remained stagnant for quite a few years. So we went ahead and went from $25 to $26 for that base rate. Homer was different. They did like a 28 in some sense in the winter and 23 in some sense in the summer. So splitting it out by summer and winter usage. We could look at a model like that if you guys want. We've been kind of steady year round for years. So splitting the difference and going about $26, which is a 4% increase. And then the daily rate is a little bit more of a significant increase. That does not include kilowatt hours, but goes to $25 a day instead of 20.
So everything else has a month, yeah, the monthly, that $26 monthly charge plus the usage on it.
Plus the kilowatts.
And yeah, and taxes. Okay. Whereas just the daily, because because that's too quick. You can't meter that. That's in and out. Okay. Okay.
Okay. And then if we keep going down to the next page, I'm going to skip over this one right now for Jack Lock because I think that'll be a bit of a bigger conversation. I'll go through some of the more standard increases, and then we'll come back to page 9 to discuss Jack Lock on its own. So just going through some of the rest of the changes. If we go to page 10, there aren't any increases for dock. And keep going to boat storage yard on page 11. We took out the boat launch line and included it on boat haul out and boat launch. It's a kind of a clerical item due to the fact that it's the same price. So boat haul out or launch, regardless of boat length. One thing that our finance officer did mention today after this went out, she said, should there be and now never mind. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to go there. That's funny. So then going to the next page for boat storage fees, again, same thing, regular increase. We did not increase the non-boat storage, and we'll have a bigger conversation about that, but the boatyard storage fees are increased. That 1.5%. That's page 12. City equipment remains the same, and garbage and refuse services are highlighted. They remain the same, but we'll have we'll go back to those items too. So the next real changes are going to be on other fees and services, page 817. We took out the unauthorized building construction because we already have that in our UMOT, and it was confusing to have it in both places. So we'll just use our uniform minor offense table versus having a fee in our fee schedule, just cleaning that up. And then under page 18, and that was the other change, and it didn't make it in here. On page 18, the last line, it's funny, should have stated city. I wonder if I have the same.
It's the packet page, not the packet page, the actual page. Because they're different.
Oh, for the fee schedule,
Yeah.
4. Not 4, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one.
14.
It's gotta be further than that.
What about the page numbers and the actual fee schedule? Page numbers.
Other fees and services.
Oh, yeah, 14. Yeah, there should be a line. I apologize. I don't know how this version missed it. That stated it was like Public Works, hourly labor. And then had and this would be a new fee in there, And then it had a $40 an hour per employee. For labor. And that's something our finance officer asked us to include because on a few of our applications, we do include wages plus a 20% surcharge for the work. Well, and yeah, we've had people ask, well, what is it? And it depends on the employee. So this is a good, just like a solid roundup of, we probably wouldn't go over this for an employee wage and benefits at this point, and can give that idea. And then when we have that on our estimates for like water and sewer connection, we have an estimate form. We can have that figure on there. And then anytime she has to bill out for it, if it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen a couple times a year. Just making sure that we have that up front so people can see that that's what the charge is going to be if you have Public Works helping with a project.
How's she been doing that in the past? Sorry.
How's she been doing that in the past?
She has to take
Just-
their wage
oh,
plus their
doing the
benefits
actuals.
and do the
Oh,
actuals.
okay.
And it's what we've historically done and we can continue to do it. But her request was like, can we just put an upfront price there that we can show people, that we can utilize to make it simpler? So this was my recommendation for allowing that.
Yeah, as long as we're not going backwards.
No.
So.
Okay. And then water and sewer fees on the following page. 15 are again, that 1.5% increase. And those are the standard increases across the board. Nothing too crazy. You guys have any questions on that? We could go through that first and then we can get into a couple of the more in-depth topics.
Anybody have any questions, comments on anything we've covered so far?
No. Okay. Then I'm gonna jump into Jack Law. This is new, brand new, that was requested from the council at a previous meeting that we look into that, and that's gonna be on page 5 of the fee schedule. And up here. And what started off as, oh, this should be simple, we'll just put in a seasonal fee or an annual fee to park at Jack Loft. And then I was like, oh, well, no, wait, because we need to make sure that we have our clause in there that we assume no liability and that it's first come, first serve, and there's no reservations, and the vehicles should be fully operational, registered and maintained, to avoid having abandoned vehicles in the lot. And then talking about trailers came up, and we do have the occasional trailer that parks out there. So making sure that we're addressing it, but we're also not setting a fee that would encourage people to want to drive all their trailers out and park them at the Jack Loft lot versus parking them in town at the city lot. So that fee, there's a monthly fee in there, and that is the same as the in-town fee without an annual. And looking at a day rate, setting it up that trying to keep it simple and allow for some day activity. This is an initial stab at trying to put in a fee schedule, but all options are on the table. We have a couple different options in here, but honestly, all options are on the table. So if you guys have thoughts or ideas on how to make this work better, basically we have our language at the top, making sure that we clarify what those regulations are. And then underneath we have our prices. For the daily rate, we had an option 1 and an option 2. And option 2 was like a $5 parking daily rate for Jack Loft. Harbor Master Layla recommended, well, we do free parking in town. Why don't we have an option for free parking out there? But making sure, there are limits on it because we will be monitoring. We'll have to go out and manage that site. So we did a free up to 5 consecutive days. If you're staying longer, then you should be getting either a monthly pass or an annual pass was the recommendation at this time. So you'll see that the option 1 is free, option 2 is a day rate. Then we have the monthly rate. It's set at 20, but again, these are all open for suggestions. And doing that because some of our, like our boat launch ramp dailies are $10 and 20. It seems like if, you know, that's if somebody doesn't want an annual, they don't have to, they can just get the monthly, but really we would rather people get the annual so that we're not having to micromanage those vehicles out there every week. And then that leads us to the annual of 50. And they're split up kind of funky, we found, especially with the drop boxes. So similar to our boat launch and haul out ramps, we have and camping, we have drop boxes and envelopes, and there is a way that people can just pay there and drop it. But if you have your taxes and everything extra on top that's more than a round dollar bill, it doesn't work out very well. So we have it split into summer and split into winter with that tax rate so that it comes out to $5 daily, $20 monthly, or $50 annual, regardless of when they're paying. However, the annual, we did want to make sure to put a stipulation on it that that's per calendar year. That is something that I've seen other communities to do, including Homer, because then you're able to send out renewal notices at the beginning of every year, and you're not like, it just is a way to simplify that management piece instead of trying to
And they can always
track.
They can always up monthly if that
Yeah.
year kind of fall where they need it to. Is
Egg-
there going to be another?
Is there going, besides the Dropbox, could they pay that annual fee or that monthly fee like
Yeah.
at the harbor here?
Yeah,
Is that the
absolutely.
option? Okay.
Yep, they can play at the harbor, they can pay at the city
I know.
office, or they can call and pay on the phone, and that phone number's up above as well, and we'll have signage out so that people are aware of those options. Layla, and speaking with her was really great, and she's like, oh yeah, we're already doing this in a few areas of our city, and this is not, she's like, we've got the stuff, we can do this. She even, I think at one point, she's like, my brain is just like rolling with how to get this done. So that was great. Because she'll probably end up being the one that is checking it regularly. And then looking at boat trailer parking. Again, having a couple of options, having that 5 days free for people who are coming in and out. And then otherwise it goes to the monthly, which would be the same as in town, or as Layla suggested, not even allowing that. Like you can have your boat trailer here for a couple days while you're using the space, but then it needs to go so that we're not, it's small parking area.
Storage,
And we're not, sorry,
storage.
Jackie, and. did
Well, I have a few questions.
you- Yeah,
Can we go back? The top one here is vehicle parking, correct?
Yes.
Top left. Okay. I kind of feel like the rate for the month doesn't really match the daily rate. You're charging $5 a day, but then if you pay monthly, it's $20.
mhm,
I feel that's kind of low because it's going to be a storage unit for everybody's vehicle. And same with the boat trailers. If we give them a monthly fee, they're going to think, okay, well, I'm just park my trailer there for the winter, and then you're looking at no room down there. You put all these trailers in there and the car. I mean, look at the cars down there now. I think the price should be a little higher for a month. And I don't think I agree with Layla. I don't think the trailers should park there more than a couple days. And not pay a monthly fee to have them parked.
Yeah,
You
I
have
think
to
this is
remember
gonna-
that people are coming out you know, people are taking Mako, so there's vehicles coming down there every day and trying to turn around and drop off their parties, and I just think it's gonna be kind of a mess if we start making a parking lot of stored vehicles. That's just my opinion.
I agree with Jackie. I think the monthly fee should be higher, and I don't like the idea that boat trailers getting just a, because she's right, the space is at a premium down there, and that's really not what it's for. It will be a storage unit, you know?
I think there has to be the ability to semi-long-term put boat trailers, just because if somebody puts their boat in the water, they don't have a way they're putting their boat in the water to go
Yeah.
across. And so, but I think that's where making it a higher cost, or I guess thinking about that a little bit more, how that would work, because it's not going to be everybody. A lot of people that'll go to Jackaloff are going to be heading over to Halibut Cove or Tutka, because that's the quicker way to get over in the summertime. And it's going to be just for the day, in and out, their boat trailer's down there. It has to be parked while they're in their boat. But come winter time, that's where that gets utilized more for if people are needing to make a trip to Anchorage or that. And if you have your own boat, it's like if I was going to go down there and utilize that, because it'll be able to be utilized for that now, I would then need to be able to put my boat trailer somewhere, because I can't go drive it back into town, come back out, go like that. That negates the reason to use Jackaloff at that point. It would cost me more than to fly across. And so I don't have an answer, but I'm thinking the logistics of like how different people will be utilizing that now. And whether that's that there's just a specific space and it is, first come, first serve, or like Jackie said, having that monthly rate higher, so that that's available. And I don't know if that is something where, yeah, how much people are going to utilize that, but I think it'll be utilized a lot more in that way. I think there'll be a lot more boats that haven't used that as a launch point to get in the water that in the past that will with the new dock in.
Yeah, I think the whole fear here is, I think we can accommodate all the users, but I
Yeah.
think the biggest fear here is we don't want this to be a long-term parking lot
Mhm.
like it is now, and where it's too convenient. So somehow, whether it's
Yeah.
through language or first come, first
Yeah.
serve, or if you see, habitual offenders or repeat something, we have to have some mechanism to, and maybe our fears are unfounded. I don't know. But yeah, I could see if you've got a vehicle and you want to just put it somewhere and you don't want to deal with it. I mean, that's not what this is for.
Right.
It's parking's at a premium out there because we just run out of space. It's simple as that for people that are using it. And that's what we want. We want to encourage the short-term usage. That's why we don't want the abandoned vehicles, the junk vehicles, and, people and people just homestead them there for months and months because they don't have anywhere to go. I mean, the whole idea is if you're paying, an annual fee, it's because you're in and out of there a lot. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
utilizing, coming and going, which there are a lot of people that do that. So yeah, again, I don't have any of the answers at the moment, but I think we're all thinking along the exact same lines here. We just got to come up, with a fee that, is not too much where it's going to break the bank, but where it's going to discourage people from just, wanting to leave their vehicles out there all the time. And again, it might not be, the fee might not be the controlling mechanism. It might be just the enforcement of it. It's,
Yeah.
With
and
an
looking at it and say, hey, your car hasn't moved in 4 months here.
I was gonna say,
That's
having
not
like
the
a
point.
maximum, that even if you have an annual for a car or a trailer, like that it can't be there for more than X amount of time per time. Just like when you have the parking, like you can't be parked here more than however many days in a row and you've got to move it because they're not gonna, we're not saying moving spots, we're saying it's got to get out of the parking lot.
What if we did that, raise the fees, also have a limit as to how long, but then had a certain designated number of spots for the boat trailers? That way, we only have X amount, they have to be rotated out. And let's increase the fee a little bit.
Well, I think the trailers are gonna be short term regardless. I don't think we want
Yeah.
any long-term trailers in there. The whole point of that is for people coming and going. I mean,
Yeah.
Just thinking like the biggest situation is maybe in the winter, if somebody's using that, like I said, to go, if you're using that to get across, let's say you're going on your Hawaii vacation for 2 weeks and your weather's not good, you can't fly, so you're gonna take your boat down there and go across because you can go on your time now because you can launch your boat there safely. But now your trailer's there for 2 weeks and you're coming back.
I think if you had maybe a designated a number of stalls or spots for trailers, and then anything over that, if it's full, you got to call the harbor master, and it's
Yeah.
case by case. Exactly that. You know what I mean? The harbor master can say, no, it's not going to happen. We got a huge, I mean, someone that's in tune with that, right? If it's wintertime, we'll never be able to plow if we got trailers zigzag everywhere, or yes, that's fine. Everything's going fine. You can leave it there for 2 weeks. But I think there has to be some, and it ain't gonna, I don't think it wants to be you guys. I think it's gonna be somebody it's in touch like Layla, to manage that piece of it.
And that would be good, because what that does too is that then rings the bell of like, why is it full? So when we're talking about things
Exactly.
down there very long, to not have to be like constantly looking and going, how long has that been there? How long has that been there? Then it's like, oh, there's a bunch of trailers down there, and maybe we should be.
I think the other
Ooh.
piece of this too, sorry,
That's okay.
my mind's going here. I didn't mean to cut you off. Is that just thinking through the practical effects of this is, so you've got the phone number on here. I think you have to have the ability, we switch all the time at the last second when I can't get out of here on a flight. I'm out of here, gone. Lots of people don't carry cash. There has to be a way that you can just call that number too and pay with a credit card if you want. That's got to be an option as well. So people aren't freaking out. They get out there and they're like, oh Christ, I have no way to pay for my parking. And
Yeah.
in Anchorage, you'd get hooked and you'd be gone. Obviously, this is a little different scenario here, but I think that would put people's fears to rest. If you're out of here in the last second, late at night, early in the morning or whatever, and you didn't have the means on you to take care of it, then you just call the phone number and it'll be posted out there. Call the number, take care of it. Hey, I'm going to be here for a week, or whatever the case may be. So we want to make it super convenient for people.
Yeah. And it's really relatively a big area. I think there's room for trailers and vehicles and for people to get in and out, getting on Mako. But I think once we get all the junk out of there and we see what we have for space, I think it would make it more realistic of what we should charge and
Obviously, like having actual boat trailer space, long term and short, that could be adjusted a little, but that visually can also help whoever is enforcing.
Yeah.
And also helpful from that way, then also with regards to the fee schedule, that payment, that there's different types of part.
Yeah, I can see that middle section, maybe even, I mean, I don't know what the usage would be, but you got to think too, if someone's backing trailers around there, I don't know how big a boats, obviously not too big of boats, but you want to try to minimize all the backing and craziness around there with the trailers and stuff, because pretty soon you'll be backing into cars and other people's boats and whatever the case may be. But maybe just a little thought on the layout, when we get a little closer. Jack, you had some.
What's your thoughts on Mako water taxi as a service that's frequents that place on a pretty regular basis? What kind of charges you think?
Oh, yeah.
I did not prepare a discussion on moorage because I thought we were waiting until the dock was in. So if you guys want me to go back and work on moorage, I can, but I was under the impression that this discussion was focused on parking and on the uplands lot.
Yeah, so when do we think, I mean, if we did the parking, that we can start enforcing that this summer, right?
Right. So the advantage, I mean, there's pros and cons to everything.
Yeah.
The advantage to doing the parking, and I apologize. I thought that was the direction I was given from council, was to look at having a minimal nominal fee for parking out there. Just to let people know that this is the direction that we're headed, as well as to be able to help with the registration and the monitoring process that has to happen, right? This is not something that will gonna roll out overnight and it's gonna be perfect. We haven't even talked about camping, which is included in here because we do have people that camp out there every year. And that was a conversation I had. That. Yes. And that part. That's something that, you know, we have half of a dock sitting in storage on the uplands right now that's in the way. And once that's removed, we can open up more. And that was exactly the conversation we had, is then we really need to set out if that's something that we're gonna support, if that's something the council wants to support. We have those designated areas and that they're clearly marked that this is parking. Certainly we can go as far as, you know, these are trailers and these are vehicles. And just making sure that we're clear with maps and whatever kind of indicators we can use. That's the amount of space that's available for that. But we're not gonna have that this year. I'm sure we could do something with the trailers. Camping is just it's gonna be rough because that dock is sitting up on where people would camp, but I feel like it has to be a little bit fluid as we start to clean up and utilize that lot to look at how it works best.
So are we thinking then for this summer? I mean, inevitably there's going to be people that are going to pitch tents there or whatever, which is fine. I mean, we're okay. Yeah, just no fee for this. I mean, yeah, you're not really, it's a big mess down there. So, I mean, if you want to camp.
We did include the same fees as we have inside, or not inside, but on other city properties. Which is the $15 for an RV or 10 for a tent. But we can take that out if we don't want to have a fee for camping. I am cognizant that I do feel like we should be similar to what we're doing on other city properties.
Okay.
That way we're not encouraging or discouraging people from one space to the next. I could see them would be like, oh, well, you can camp at Jackloff for free.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Yeah. And if it's going to happen in the future, as well just all happen, I guess.
Yeah, not that we're gonna be particularly encouraging that this year, but if it happens, there's a fee for it. And then as we move into next year, when that area's new dock, it'll give us, this year would give us hopefully a good baseline for how to move forward. So parking for boats and trailers and camping is what was included here. I know that $355 per month for the trailers looks intense. But if you do a 32-foot trailer times $355, that's $113. We're saying you have to pay to have your trailer there for a month. More standard, if we had like a 25-foot, let's say 25-foot trailer times $355, that's $88.75 a month. And those are same prices as our boatyard in town for non-annual.
Those do sound fair. Yeah, and they seem like enough of a deterrent that people aren't just gonna sack it. Well, I did have a question though about the 5-day free parking. That has to be dropped in that Dropbox, right? Because there has to be some accountability on when this car arrived. So we're gonna document it by they still have to provide that license number and that date of when they started their free parking? Because otherwise they could just say, you know what I mean? Like, how do we, unless we had someone that happened to go out there, I mean, that's gonna involve a lot of micromanaging.
We will have, regardless, we'll need somebody to go out there weekly, and it'll probably be bi-weekly. We'll have somebody out there twice a week.
But should they also then, they should also document when they got there. That seems fair.
I would think,
Right?
Yeah, that's exactly how I'd do it.
That-
You
I
have
think
to get the
everyone
same
has to,
thing.
the same,
Whether
yeah.
it's the free,
Right.
this is the form just like at the state parks. You
Mhm.
put it in the envelope, take your pass, put it in the windshield, so if they
Right.
come along, they can see, right? Now we'll have to deal with winter time. That'll be a whole nother deal when the
I
windshield.
have it inside inside.
Yeah,
Just put it inside. It'll
yeah,
be-
but
Oh, oh, I
winter
see.
time, everything will be covered,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
So, but that's a whole nother deal. And then maybe for, people get annual passes, you get a sticker or something that you can
Ooh,
stick
sticker.
on the outside and or whatever, so that the harbor master.
That's a great
whoever it
idea.
is, knows.
Mhm.
But that's all easy stuff. But no, I agree. If you're gonna do the free, which I am fine, if there's a short term, few days or 5, whatever it is, free. I mean,
People need to go get groceries or they
Yeah.
take their kid to the, you know what I mean? We kind of rely on that a little bit. I don't think we should be charging those local people. Like, I think 5 days is fine, or if you want to make it a few days less, but I think there should be a free period, but I think it needs to be documented by the person who's leaving their vehicle there.
I'd be fine for 3 days, but.
And
Yeah.
then-
You got Jack?
Something.
Well, this is why it's mentioned in Marco, because there's some people who drive out there, they need to go shopping in Homer and leave the car there, and maybe they're gonna be there for a couple of days, or the weather turns bad and they didn't plan on it. But, having, I don't care if it's 3-4 days of free parking, especially if they're a Marco customer.
Yeah, there's lots of locals that just go over for day trips.
Yeah.
Tons of people, or they just go for an overnight, for
Or they get
medical or
stuck
something.
because
so.
something happened.
Yeah, no, I like the
Yeah.
idea of it. 3 days, 5 days. I mean, whatever it is. I mean, I think 3 days would probably get us just fine, but I could see a lot of the locals getting just an annual pass too, if it's reasonable. That's what I would do. I'll just do that because I'm
That's what I would
lazy to
do.
deal with all the rest of that stuff.
The one thing is like you had that $5 day rate, but then your monthly, like Jackie was mentioning, I wouldn't want a monthly fee to be an incentive, just a long-term parking lot, because that's gonna end up,
Well, I think,
I don't know what a monthly should be out there, but that should make it enough that where you wanna be out there for a month.
Sure.
you can pay for it,
Yeah.
And not be an incentive just to leave your vehicle there because it's a low price.
Yeah, and I think that's where the enforcement piece comes in. Like me, I mean, if it was $50 or $75, whatever it is for an annual pass, for me, that's what I'm gonna do because it's the easy button. What am I gonna park out there? I don't know. 15 days a year, 20 days a year.
All right.
I'm a flyer. I like to fly, but there's lots of times when I gotta drive. So, yeah, it's just one of them deals, but then there's lots of boat people too that don't like to fly, that only like to boat. So,
There are definitely vehicles out
I-
there now who park year round.
Yeah.
yeah. That are derelict or that are just because
They're just there year round and the people use them once or twice a year.
right.
so is that something that we should also put in, like with the trailers, like you can max it out? I mean, you could do a year, but
The
or a
first come,
month or-
first serve.
Really, yeah.
I mean, that's what I have in here right now. I don't know.
I mean, I do, yeah.
I don't know how we would better manage that at this point.
I
It's
just-
just lots full, the lot's full.
Yeah, and I think it's just how you can have on an annual pass a max amount of,
And you have to
Days.
reapply or something.
and if you know that your trip is going to be much longer than that, then you're gonna arrange to have a ride
Yeah.
rather than leave your vehicle.
Right,
And it obviously won't be perfect on the enforcement, but if you have a max of two, kind of like we have on the camping, that you can't camp more than 14
Mhm.
days at a time. Saying that, and obviously with that, we wouldn't say you can't have it there for 14 after, because maybe you have somebody who's a regular commuter or something, but a max of 14 days at a time, and it's gotta be out of there, before.
Ironically, I mean, if you go, it's never happened to me. It's come super close. I mean, anytime I go out there, I mean, I've seen it at 99% full, but usually there's a space, right? Even if it's
Yeah.
someone leaving on the boat that's coming in. I have seen it where there was people double stacked too. And I wondered, well, how are they getting out of there? Because someone just parked in front of them over on the one side close
Daily
to the
there
hill.
that's
Well,
what I was
well,
doing when
yeah.
I moved here.
Yeah, I think last year there was a time when there was like 6 layers over there where they were double stacked over there. And I'm obviously you must have had to leave your keys or something. So
I went to a parking
But-
garage in Louisiana one time that was like
That
that.
could get better though, once you get that place cleaned up.
yeah, I think it'll get a lot better once we. Out there, I think we'll have some.
Then. Let's say you pass. But they can only leave their vehicle there for 14 days. I'm sorry, I'm not.
To keep away from somebody long-term, like
Right.
just.
No,
parking
I
the
understand the
vehicle out
point.
there as it's a parking lot. So an amount of time, it makes sense for the majority of people that would use it with an
Mhm.
annual. An annual might be something that might have a time or two that's a little bit longer, but it's not all year.
Yeah, the point is, it's limited space. I don't care if it was $500 a year. We still wouldn't want you leaving your car there every single day
Right.
because there's too many people that utilize that space and it's not, I mean,
So they have to move it. Is that what
Yeah.
it is? They just have to, well, I don't understand. Like, how are we gonna enforce? I don't have.
no long-term parking.
I know.
That's what we're getting at. No,
Okay.
I mean, how are you?
I agree with you.
Yeah, this is not a long-term
There.
But it's just for people to use.
What is that, but what does that look like though? I mean, like how, like someone got it here and then they can. Only- they can-
That's what we saw on the video. That's what we got.
We see your vehicle out there.
Yeah,
We know you're not using it properly.
yeah. We would just have to find the language, right? I mean,
Right.
we're not the first ones to have to deal with this.
Right.
I'm sure if you look at any southeast community, anywhere that's small footprint,
They figured
someone's
it out.
already dealt with this.
Yeah.
And it's in their code. Good looking.
No,
You wanted the conversation. You're
Like-
getting.
Other hand up, sorry.
Go ahead, Harmony.
I just wanted to reinforce what Heidi said in the beginning, that this is just the beginning of the conversation. There's a lot of derelict vehicles out there. Once we have it cleaned up, it's going to look a lot bigger. It's a sunny day, you guys. You're not going to have it all figured out today. It's all right. You guys are doing great.
Work session.
I would like to bring up, it's just in the wording on the top there where it says there is no fee for boat launch and haul outs. You have that in the fee schedule for the ramp, the wording that way. I think it should be different so people don't think, oh, you haul my boat out here. Am I wrong thinking that?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I mean, maybe it should just say, there's no fee to launch your boat here or to pull it out, but I think
Personal?
there's no, it kind of saying is there's no boat launch or haul out fee.
Yeah.
And they'll say, hey, come down and haul out my boat. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. People are that way. I just thought maybe the wording should be changed in that. Other than that, I think, it, like Harmony said, is just the beginning. There's a lot of kinks to work out, but I think that it can be possible to come up with something that's reasonable.
Okay, so I'm hearing 3 consecutive days for parking. Otherwise, we encourage people to do the monthly pass, and we're gonna call these passes because there's no guarantee you're gonna get it. Monthly pass, and then I'm hearing that $20 is too low for a monthly pass. What is council
Yeah.
thinking would be a good rate for a monthly?
30.
I think 30 would be sufficient.
30 for monthly pass.
Free parking at Jack Loft, $30 a month. For a car.
$30 a month, but if you're going longer than that, then it would be an,
That's way too cheap.
okay.
That builds an incentive for people just to leave it bigger.
Well, again, it's not that, we can control it. You charge 100. I mean, if you want to get
Yeah.
real, you want to charge $100 a month. I mean, we can charge whatever we want. The point is to be able to enforce it though, right? We got to,
Yeah.
Okay, but $100 a month, that would be my minimum that I would charge people because.
well, I was being
people
facetious
can
about that. No one will ever, no one in this town will use it.
Go to Anchorage.
Well, yeah,
No,
I agree. I
even-
agree.
Even Smoky Bay charges $30 a month.
Yeah.
to park a car in the gate. I mean,
I-
you can't gouge people, but I
Yeah.
think maybe after the 30 days, there's a penalty of 5 days added, $5 a day added to your bill. Something like that.
Yeah, you would have language, something to the effect that if you're not using your car regularly, you have to define regularly, then there's gonna be a surcharge applied.
Yeah.
Meaning, yeah, you need to utilize it. It's not a long,
Yeah.
and have,
Don't
spell
just
it out
park
in
it there.
layman's terms.
Yeah.
Don't screw around and put some hodgepodge nonsense on there. Just spell it out, what we're trying to accomplish.
And then we
Back to
can,
questions.
Sure.
So for the other piece of user tier for that parking area are people who live or work over in Homer and they keep their cars parked at Jackloff and use that to go in and out to different places. Are we saying that with that monthly or annual fee that those people will no longer be able to leave their cars there past 14 days?
No.
no, because they're, like you said, they're moving their cars. They're not using it as a storage lot, like indefinitely. I bought a monthly pass. I'm gonna just park my car out there for the whole month because I'm not like, it's on a need basis. And that's something that I think it's kind of like trial and error, like year one, it's clean, things cleaned up, which that makes a difference when things are a little more cleaned up and stuff. People are less likely to want to stick out like a sore thumb when they're taking crap down there to just get rid of, which why would they want to also pay to leave their crap down there? I don't know. But then if something becomes a problem,
Just full of crap.
then we can address how to fix that, like rather make it too complicated at first.
I guarantee you, after this meeting, if you take in less than 15 minutes, I'll actually say in less than 5 minutes, if you put this problem into Chat GPT,
Mhm.
you will have your answer.
Yep.
I use it all the time now. I'm not proud of that, but I use it all the
Are
time.
you using AI,
And
Jeremiah?
It's disgusting how
Effective.
accurate and effective and efficient it is. It will literally give us. the
Gonna go
language.
look at all those other,
Because it'll pull it up
communities.
from everywhere in the United States that's already been
Hmm.
done. That's why it works.
yeah, I just,
Well, I wouldn't do anything less than 50. And obviously, I'd like to see it higher, but 50 a month isn't gonna hurt anybody to park the car.
Okay, but we have to remember we don't have any infrastructure out there right now. So we're
Yeah.
charging people for a pile of dirt at the moment.
Yeah. With a bunch of derelict vehicles.
And I think to come back to Liz's question, I think like Ashley said, because they are actually using their vehicle once they come over here, it's not like their vehicle is sitting unmoved for a year. They will be using that vehicle. And I think as long as we keep the user fees reasonable, so people pay them, and we make it accountable where they have to actually fill in the tickets, and it's got to be dated, and it can't go over that date, or they will be fined. With designated areas, I think eventually it's gonna play out like,
and if we end up where it seems like there's not being enough room and there's a lot of vehicles that are a lot more the long term, and they may be people that use them regularly, but because they're, working over in the other side and it's sitting there and then all the traffic, then we can have that discussion. That's a
case
good
by case
point.
basis.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
problem to have. If
Yeah.
it's being used to capacity, because then that gives us the incentive of, okay, now what can we do so that we can try to make it usable for, all these people want to use it.
And remember, this is year one, right? So let's establish a baseline. Let's go into this easy. Let's establish a baseline and then we'll see what the true need is, what the capacity is, and we'll revisit this again next year at the same
Okay,
time.
so let's say vehicles must be fully operational, registered, maintained, and must move every 6 months. Must
No.
move move a day every 6 months. Must
No,
move-
a day, a month.
Mhm,
Yeah, 6 months is too long. That's long-term vehicle storage.
mhm,
Yeah.
and
If it's
must-
over a month, they're storing it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a 30 days,
and
right?
so must move every 30 days.
Yep.
Mhm.
And you
And
can
again-
always have a clause for some weird reason, if somebody had bought an annual pass and they happen to have a trip or something that's gonna be like 31 days or something where they
Mhm.
could call and let you know
Mhm,
or something. I mean, if you wanted.
mhm.
Yeah, if your situation does not fit any one of these, call the harbor master and just get pre-approved.
And make it easy for Layla too. I mean,
Totally.
We could have like a list of common reasons why this would not apply,
And
that
if
she
someone
could simply
complains-
say, okay, well, that follows under this.
5-day grace on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she should have the honestly, she
She
should
needs
have the
that.
latitude, Heidi, to wear, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
If she needs to give somebody a couple days, give them a couple days. Who
Right,
cares? I
Absolutely.
mean, I would hope that she wouldn't even have to, we make it to where
She's been doing
she
this.
wouldn't have to come to you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That she can just deal with it.
Yeah, so must move every 30 days. I would say trailers can't be parked there for any longer than 60 days. Or you wanna do shorter than that? 30 days.
I think they keep everything at 30.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
keep it all at
I think
30, yeah.
it's keeping tabs, because one thing we will have now is we'll know whose stuff is down there, and that's a huge difference as it is. So if there is a problem, or if somebody's like, this car's been there a long time, we're gonna know whose it is and why.
Yeah, she'll
If
know
we don't-
exactly what's going on.
Layla can go, I need to call that person then and find
Yeah.
out what's going on.
Okay. Monthly pass is $30. So 3 days free. Otherwise, you need to get a monthly pass. That's $30. And then annual 50. Do you guys want to increase that then? For an annual pass? Because that's less than 2 months.
You could do 100 for an annual. I mean, our annual launch is 250.
Well, 100 is keeping them fairly close to Homer, which is 150 unless you have a boat, and then it's 100. So 100 is fairly standard
Okay,
in this
yeah.
area.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say fairly standard, but that is a rate that people, I like the idea of like 30 is similar to Smoky
Mhm.
Bay, 100 is similar to the Spit,
Yeah.
kind of keeping those similar.
Well, yeah, and if you
Yeah.
use it a lot, then you're saving a ton of money by doing that. I mean, versus the
Yeah.
$5 a day, right? After 20 times, then you're like, okay, yeah, like me, I'm probably right there, but it's like, okay, I'll just still buy the annual.
So do you want the $5 a day and with 3
Mhm.
consecutive free days in there? So they could, if they go over, they can just pay $5?
Well, I think you still have to have the day option in there.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I think you still leave people the day option because there's going to be people that, yeah, for whatever reason in the summertime.
Days.
Yeah.
It's probably just me thinking that 100 is a lot. It's because 100 is standard. Okay, all right.
Well,
It's comparing it
You're
to our
looking-
boat
Yeah.
launch fees, because like a boat, you're only maybe launching like five times physically using the city property, but that's over twice as much cost to park a trailer or like have it sit on the city property. So
We could split the difference. if
saying,
we could-
just saying, when you're like kind of
Yeah.
comparing 100 makes sense in that compared to our other items.
Okay. I feel like that's pretty good feedback and I can take that and work that into a working document. The question is then, are you comfortable with me working in that into a document and seeing it next as a introduction, or do you want another work session to see it first? I feel like you're fairly close here and that I've taken fairly good notes and it could probably be introduced. and
I
you
think
get
you
the-
could get it introduced, then if
Mhm.
there's any,
agree.
we could easily amend it if there's any
Yeah.
issues.
Amended at
Yeah.
that meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds great to me. Unless you guys have anything else on that, we could go to the next topic.
Yeah, let's do that. It's 5:30, so we'll
Okay.
keep moving here.
So next topic being, let me go back to our memo here. I just wanted to bring up, and again, I don't have a solution at this point, but wow, that was really productive. So maybe you guys will have a solution. Again, talking about those boat haul out fees. And I appreciate your guys' feedback because we don't want to run into another situation like our boat haul out yard. Which we're slowly coming out of, but it's taking a long time. That's gonna be page 8. Is the fees, but really I'm actually gonna take you back, I apologize, to the memo. Because that will give you more information. So if you look at the memo here
On page one or two, then.
yeah. On the second page of the memo itself. You'll see I talk about the different harbor, the annual storage yard users. And I just wanted to pull this out because we did a impound process last year and we're getting ready to do an impound process this year. It's a lot to do. So we haven't done it more than annually at this point. hopefully as we get better and more cleaned up, if we have to, we can do it more regularly. That's a goal that we've set in the office. But really looking at, we have a couple of conundrums happening. One, something that the finance officer continues to point out is that the harbor is subsidizing the boat storage yard because there is a discount for annual customers. So we actually started this conversation looking at, well, how do we address that? And maybe the harbor is just paying that revenue back to the boatyard. But and doing a deep dive into who's actually using the harbor, or using the boat storage yard, I should say, and using it responsibly, it's those customers. And they're the majority of the customers. So 55% of our customers are annual customers. And a lot of them will leave trailers in there and they pay 12 months a year for that space, even if they're in the harbor at that time with their annual. And for a delinquency rate, it's about 11%, but it's really
Minimal.
it's minimal. It's minimal. And those are the customers that are really keeping up on having active boats that are not derelicts. They're actually moving in and out and that are paying in both places. So that was a great eye opener of like, oh, okay, this is a good customer base that we should show some appreciation for, but also, you know, knowing that that harbor offsets it. The ones that we have a little bit more of an issue with are the non-annuals, where you can see we have a 30% delinquency rate. And there's a couple that really do just drag that down because they don't pay ever. And so we impounded 4 last year, sold 1 for minimal, and ended up destroying 3. And I think we got a list of another 4 this year that we're going to be going through that process again here in this next month. And then we end up writing those costs off, which is unfortunate and not the way that that should be handled. So we're looking into some collections agencies and looking into some other options. And also then ensuring that these delinquencies are not building up the way they have done in years past.
ID question.
Yes.
All of these vessels that you're talking about, and I've seen most of them, I'm gonna assume that most of these have been there like 8 to 10 years plus.
Yeah.
At least.
Okay. So the problem is how we got here is
Yes.
we let it go and we never enforced it
Exactly.
from the very, very beginning, which takes me real quick back to the jackaloff piece. Let's make sure we have
Yeah.
it up there. All vehicles are subject to impound.
Yeah.
And when we say that,
We
we mean they will be impounded. There's no question. If we have to call a tow truck over from Homer to tow them, or I don't know what Pearlie's doing with his, but someone or Hopkins or whoever,
We just
they're
generated
getting
another
out of
job.
there and they're going to be paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how we avoid this right
Yeah.
here.
And so I guess I'm bringing this to your guys' attention because of that, but also because we are working, and that is something that we would love to have, is that every boat needs to move out of there once a year. You have to move, you have to splash, you have to be operational. We're not at that point.
No, and that's not reasonable either. That's
No,
not
'cause
reasonable.
boats
We,
sometimes can take.
yeah, they
like-
can take 2 to 3. I've got a project right now in Seward that's 3 years old and they've moved us around the lot just because, but if you're in the process of a build, you've got some time sometimes on a boat project if it's all torn apart. There's a difference though between you can just go out and look and find out and look at the condition of the boat and you'll know in 2 seconds if it's derelict or not.
When that
It
that
does
tarp
not
is
take a rocket
gray,
scientist
not
to figure
blue.
that out.
So just leading me to say that it's an ongoing issue. It's something that we are addressing. Our tents, which are our other with annuals, are doing great. And our others without annuals actually are not bad either. And that's like people have motors and things there. Don't have a lot of those, but it does happen. But those, yeah, looking at the non-annual boat that are those long-term derelicts and how we continue to clean those up and address it. It's not that they're splashing every year, because that's what Northern
There has to
Enterprise
be
is.
some sort of
There
work
has to be
happening.
something
Right.
that's not leaving these boats there to rot. We've got another one that I was just informed that the ownership has something happened with the ownership and it'll probably end up in the same situation. Did we
Heidi,
lose
don't we,
that
don't,
probably?
sorry,
What's that, Jackie?
don't we have a system where if the boat's delinquent for so many years and derelict, that we go through legal process to claim the boat and then destroy it? Didn't we do that years ago?
We do, and that's what we did last year, and that's what we'll do this year. The problem with that is that we're never recovering those fees for one, so they become write-offs, and then for two, that costs money every time we destroy a
Yeah.
boat. It's thousands of dollars.
Yeah, we're not even recovering our legal fee. We're recovering zero.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the impounding on a shorter term, I think makes more sense. And also they'll be liable for the fees, whether or not we can collect them, but I think that should be in the wording as well,
Mhm.
if it isn't already. But I mean, the boat needs to either splash or you can prove that the boat is, is being worked on. We're waiting on this part where, we got to have this guy come in or something. I mean, that needs to be in there because those
Well,
boats
the
are
biggest
very-
indicator when they go delinquent, right?
gonna
Once
say-
as soon as you start going delinquent, that's your number one indicator right there. And if you're more
Yeah.
than 3 months or whatever, it's basically you're looking at abandoned.
Even if it's not delinquent though, I mean, just like with the jackalope, I mean, that, those vehicles have to move, there has to be, there has to be something that.
Boats are a little bit, they're a little more unique though.
Well, and it's
It's
in our interest to have spots filled because we should be getting money out of it. So if somebody has my father has a car project he's had since I was a child, he's been working on, but if somebody has their boat, they've been working on and they're doing it, but they're paying their bill, there's not a problem with what's there. That I don't think there's a problem unless we have a wait list of people needing it for other reasons. But at that point, then we would be like, cool, we need more space for,
well, can't we move the derelict boats out of the boat storage?
We could.
I mean, how many do you have that are
four?
4? Is there room in the yard, the impound yard?
It's just
Or-
moving it from one space to the other. We'll impound them there where they're at, and then if there isn't a payment, then they will auction them. And part of that auction is that they have to move
Get it
on.
out of
We don't want them there anymore.
Right.
Yeah, if we're gonna move them, I say we move them straight to the dump.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
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 So we're in that process, and we don't need to spend too much time on this conversation, but I just really wanted to bring it forward, because that's something that we continue to go around internally is harbor versus boatyard, and then now looking at annual versus not annual, and just making sure that moving forward we address these issues and don't let them continue to be long-standing. And we're working there. It's just been slow. But I hope in the next couple of years that we'll be in a lot better shape. I think in the next year we'll be in a lot better shape. But wanted to bring that to your attention. The last one then, not to keep everybody, because I know we're going to be going into a meeting shortly, is refuse fees, and my Zoom dropped, so you'll have to bear with me. But if you go into the memo, same page, and follow down below those boat storage fees, there's refuse fees. This is something that we haven't increased for several years, and I'm not saying I recommend it one way or another, but just thought it might be worth having a discussion. It's pretty nominal. We don't have a lot of customers. We have about 12 regular customers annually. There's a few more that will come on during the summer, but we are bringing in about a little over 14,000 a year for this service. And that's great because it does kind of counteract the cost for our employees and fuel in the truck. we pretty much break even every year. It's close till the end of the year, and then we see that we will hit that mark. And that's fine, because like with all city services, we're not trying to make money, we're just trying to be able to provide that service. But I'm definitely thinking about if the refuse truck does need maintenance, or, and for instance, in this coming year, we put in that 1.5 increase for the cost of living for our refuse employees. And so I just am wondering if it is time that we should talk about doing a rate increase for those refuse, if we could do the similar 1.5%. It's a couple dollars more per customer. The reason why we avoid doing this a lot is because we don't want to lose our customer base. You know, that's a fine line. You raise it up too high and people are like, I'm just gonna drive it myself.
Or let
Um,
it pile up, and that's my
Or
concern.
pile up.
So to me,
because,
is it worth $2 to have someone so, maybe at 50, they're considering it, but then if
Mhm.
it's any higher, I don't want trash building up. We have bears. It's just, there's
Mhm.
enough of that, I feel already. I mean, I know.
It's been a lot of years since we've been,
It has been, yeah. Which is why I bring it up.
yeah. I mean, I think we gotta have, I mean, I get the whole thing, but I mean, from, on this one, maybe it is from, yeah, I don't think we've increased that in a long time. Like,
Well, 4 or 5 years at
Yeah.
least.
yeah. We're probably due at least for a 1.5, which is a couple dollars. I mean, which, I think that's anyone that's paying that. Everything's crazy right now. It's all costing too much money.
Okay.
I'm open to whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah, no, I agree since it hasn't been raised in that long, a small increase so that if something had to be increased again later, it's not as big, because we'd be looking at a larger increase if we don't stay steady on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And if it hasn't been, I'm new to the council, so but if it hasn't been changed in
Yeah.
4,
You can
5
always-
years, let's.
Again, our kind of the small community hand out there is with the notice that that's going up. If you have any concerns about, about this affecting your ability for service, call us, let us know, since we do have a very small base.
Mhm.
I shouldn't make or break, but that's just kind of we understand everything is getting more expensive
Mhm.
Yeah.
and we don't want to hurt you.
Mhm. Okay, I like that. We can do that as a service announcement.
Because then if for some reason half our base called you and told you that, you can come back to us and let us know.
Mhm. Sure.
But hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully that.
I would also, I would include in there that it hasn't changed in X amount of years.
Yeah.
And it's only,
That makes
Yeah.
a big difference, I think, when you see rate increases,
Mhm.
because people don't always pay attention to that, and they might assume that it just has been since water and sewer does every year.
Mhm. Okay, well, I don't really have anything else unless you guys have anything else you want to address with the fee schedule. Otherwise, I'll make those changes we discussed, and then it'll be introduced at the first meeting in May.
Beautiful.
Okay,
Thank you.
sounds good. Anyone from council, any other closing thoughts or any questions, comments on the fee schedule?
Just one comment is, I think there should be like a really bright button or something right on our homepage that takes you to the fee schedule.
Okay.
Cause there's been a couple times I've been trying to find things lately. I know Liz always asks, and
That's fair.
I
it
agree.
takes a
Yeah.
few clicks, and I've been working with some people lately with things that, are easy for me, and remembering how, you want it right there. Make it look exciting.
We can do that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sounds like a good project. All right, Liz, anyone online signed up to comment?
I'm not seeing anyone for the work session.
Anyone in the audience wishing to comment on our fee schedule tonight?
I'm not
All
seeing
right.
anyone.
Okay, with that, then, thanks for the work on that. We'll look for that draft to come back, here in May. And then, with that, we will go ahead and adjourn the work session. It's 5:48, and, we'll come back here in about 12, 13 minutes and start our 6 p.m. council meeting. Okay,
Good.
we're adjourned.
All right.
For those on Zoom, you can stay on the same link.
We'll stay on this link. Okay.
All right.
That was Blueberry's coming over there.
I believe so. It seems like there's lemon involved in that glaze. Yeah.
All right, we're on mute.